Bonsoir, hope you are doing good. We are back with another session with the alumni and the French Institute. I am Nidhi Chopra, Manager Campus France at Chandigarh office. As we all know, Campus France is a French government organization established by Ministry of Higher Education Affairs and Ministry of Foreign Affairs to promote higher studies in France. In India, Campus France has 13 offices in different cities and they are directly operated by French Embassy in India. Through a series of webinars every Tuesdays and Fridays, we are making our best efforts to stay connected and reach out to the students who are interested in finding out higher opportunities in France. Today's topic for discussion is entrepreneurship, the key to creating your free space. As we all know, business schools these days put huge emphasis on startup associations and incubation centers. France ranks 10th on the 2018 Global Entrepreneurship Index and 6th on the Entrepreneurial Aspirations Sub-Index. This highlights France's outstanding entrepreneurial ecosystem and capacity for innovation. The French startup scene is booming, and Paris is leading Europe for the number of venture capital funding rounds. The word entrepreneur is itself an adaptation from the French language. So let's start today's session, and our guests for the evening are three successful, dynamic entrepreneurs who are also alumni of EM Lyon Business School. We have with us Mr. Ashley Fernandez, Country Head, EM Lyon Business School, Mr. Rohan Ranawat, CEO and co-founder Scriptlanes based in Pune, and Mr. Shashank Jayakumar, co-founder Yotaka Solutions based in Mumbai. Welcome on board.
Thank you.
Mr. Ashley Fernandez is an entrepreneur, advisor, motivational speaker, and a country head of a leading French business school, EM Lyon Business School. Ashley, we all know EM Lyon focuses a lot on the entrepreneurial aspect. Let's hear more from you how the school helps the young professionals in their entrepreneurial journey.
Well, thank you, Nidhi. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you, for Campus France, for having us. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Shashank, for being part of this. I think you will add a lot of perspective. You're the young, I was just saying before, you are the younger generation, so it's your responsibility to take it forward. Talking about success, I think you have been very, very successful, and congratulations for that. So let me just try and share my screen before I do anything. I hope this is working. Yeah. Let me just run you through a short presentation, and hopefully I will try and show you and share with you something that is, as Nidhi said, EM Lyon is known for its entrepreneurial spirit. We tend to call it the early maker spirit, and it encapsulates a lot of things. But since we are in a very peculiar situation, we are in a situation that I like to characterize as a VUCA situation: volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. I think it's important for us to also try and figure out how the entrepreneurial spirit, the enterprising spirit, helps you also navigate these difficult times. And I honestly do not see any divide in the way we should approach this situation, this period, and the way a normal entrepreneur or a startupper envisions his future. So I try to make a combination of both and try and help you navigate this geography. So once again, thank you so much for having us. And as I said, the entrepreneurial spirit in the wake of COVID-19. So the first thing I wanted to share with you is a full disclosure. I was born in Bombay a long time ago. So that's my connection to India. That's my strong connection to India. And this is one of the reasons why, being, as you kindly said, being like Rohan and Shashank, an alumnus of EM Lyon, I want to give back to my country of birth and give back to my alma mater. So this is the reason why today, with my friends, we are also here. this is also something I think is very important when we talk about entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial spirit. Okay, we all have a plan. We all had a plan before COVID. We all had something charted out, and everything was sort of, mostly figured out. The fact of the matter is, well, we got punched. Okay, we got punched, and I would like to add, we got punched in the face actually, and nobody saw it coming. And this is one of the starting points that relates to entrepreneurship as well. You see, when you start on a journey, we all have a plan. Uh, Rohan started a business, Shashank started businesses, I started businesses. We all have a plan, and we all keep on moving forward, sometimes going back, sometimes pivoting. But the main question is, how do I transform constraints into opportunity? And this is a very important thing. The starting point is the mindset. Okay, being agile. Life after COVID, that's basically what we are all looking at. That's what we are all considering. I would like to shift the focus a little bit. And for that, I would like to use the Kubler-Ross model that was later on enhanced by David Kessler, which is the grief model. Okay. If you remember, we all started at this point. We all started in denial. Okay. This is just going to be a small thing. I see Shashank smiling, but this is going to be a small thing. The flu kills more. By the way, it's still being said right now. We overreacted, this, that, whatever. Then we moved on to the second stage, the anger stage. Why didn't anyone get ahead of this? Why didn't anyone be on top of this? Why didn't we have direction? Okay, why are we basically in this situation? Third stage, bargaining. Then we all started bargaining. Don't worry, this is temporary. I remember saying, don't worry, I travel a lot. Some of you may know, I come to India very often. I used to tell my counterparts in India, don't worry, in 1 month's time, 2 months' time, it's going to be over. I'll be, etc., etc. In other words, nobody had a clue. Okay, and this is exactly also if and Shashank and Ron can talk about it later on. But this is also the kind of situation that many entrepreneurs are. It's just navigating in uncharted territory. And I think it was important to share this model because I think it explains a lot. Then it was a doom and gloom situation, okay, which happens also in the entrepreneurial journey. Okay, this is too much. We'll never be able to cope with it. I can't see the end of it. Oh my God, etc., etc. And then we started accepting. Then we started figuring out how we could act, sometimes fast, but at least how we could act decisively and regain control. That is very, very important. So these are the five stages that I think always characterize the journey in whatever, in any uncertain situation, may it be in real life or in the entrepreneurial scheme of things. And the last thing, which is very, very important in a longer perspective, and this is why I think David Kessler added a great dimension to all this, is finding meaning. Finding meaning is also very important. This is why some of us, we shifted from the salaryman type of thing to an entrepreneurial type of journey. Okay, this is why we wanted to find meaning, and this is what is at the core of a long-term, sustainable relationship. Okay, may it be in the professional world, but also in the in a personal situation. We need to find a meaning to what we do. And I'll get back to that, but that's very, very important. So it's not about life after COVID, but it's going to be life with COVID. Life with COVID, like life after 9/11, life with 9/11, etc., etc. Because today it's COVID, tomorrow it's going to be something else. What I'm trying to say is that we have to get used to navigate uncertain times. We have to get used to navigate, volatile times. We have to get used to navigate complex and ambiguous times. And this is exactly the type of, once again, journey that an entrepreneur has to do or undertake. When you look at the journey of an entrepreneur, okay, you mentioned that entrepreneur is actually, entrepreneur is a French word, okay, entrepreneur. That's a French term, okay. And if you translate entreprendre into English, it's undertake with a certain, undertake a project that contains a certain part of risk. And this is why I think it's important for me to mention the prospect theory, because what are we looking at basically? What we are talking about is today managing the risk, okay? Managing the reward, the gratification, today's gratification compared to gratification later on. How do I manage the risk and the reward um, connection? And this is also a different an entrepreneur will have a different approach to this risk reward relationship. And the basis of this is the prospect theory. What am I ready to take now, or rather forsake later on to get now? Okay, that's the foundation of any entrepreneurial project. And another dimension I would like to add to this, by the way, that was brought to me by someone who joined us in our Care Share Dare talks that we do every Saturday with students for EM Lyon. She's a psychologist from Bombay, and she added another dimension. In order for me to have a clear impression of who I am and what I do, I need to relate. Okay, so let me put it in perspective. You often heard about a glass half full or half empty, right? Well, the perception you will have of that glass will depend from your starting point. Was the glass full and became half full, or was it half empty and became and was increased? That's the dimension. Your starting point is important. If you do not know how to compare, where you start and how to compare, then you have a problem in your relationship towards the risk and the reward. It's exactly what, in a better way, Myers Schreiber said from the height of his MIT lab. Cognitive triad. This is a very, very important thing, because basically what this says is that your emotions, your behaviors, and your thoughts are totally connected. And this is also a very, very important starting point in terms of understanding the entrepreneurial spirit. Okay, if you do not have the means to understand where you are, what you want to do, and how you're going to do it, how you're going to behave, you lack the tools to move forward. And this is something that we all learn. This is something that we all learn in terms of moving forward. Okay, the entrepreneurial mindset will have an impact on your behavior and your emotion. This is probably one of the most important slides of my short presentation. This is something that was developed by Carol Dweck at Stanford. The growth mindset versus the fixed mindset. And if I want to relate this to what we learn and what we teach at EM Lyon Business School, I think this is exactly the core of the DNA of the school and the entrepreneurial spirit of the school. Okay, we look at failure as an opportunity. Okay, for example, at EM Lyon Business School, and I'm sure my two younger alumnus colleagues will be able to talk about it much better than I will. We have a fab lab. Okay, we have a fab lab that is connected to the learning hub, and that is connected to the incubator. So we have an ecosystem where it is okay to practice, to fail, to grow, to learn. And the learning by doing is very, very important, because it's the growing process that we like to nurture in our students. Getting out of your comfort zone is something that is very, very important. And this is also something very important. This is something that any entrepreneur will have in mind and has already practiced. Today, it's very complicated to analyze and to behave in a binary way, yes or no, black or white. I think what people have to do now is to behave and to think in terms of probability. Okay, think in terms of probability, and have different scenarios outlined in front of you, and keep reassessing the problems, the constraints, and try and transform those constraints into opportunities. So you keep navigating, keep getting the information. And talking about information, what is important today is to separate the noise from the signal. Okay, there's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of conflicting, contradicting noise. What you need to do is navigate that noise, find the right signals to help you move forward, and move forward in an educated way. And this is why also I think that there are different futures. There's no one future. Okay, it's we tend to say that the early makers make their future. I think it's a very powerful statement. It's transforming a person from a spectator into an actor. And once again, that is the crux of any entrepreneur. So when you come to EM Lyon, or to any school, by the way, because this is a Campus France initiative, so it's about higher education in France. It's about knowledge in France. So, and I strongly believe that French higher education has a lot to give. It can be at EM Lyon, it can be elsewhere. But since we're talking about EM Lyon, in terms of EM Lyon, we believe that aptitude is very important. When you're about to embark on a personal, a pedagogical, and a professional journey, aptitude obviously is something that you need, you require, you will get. But what is more important is the attitude. And attitude is something that is very, very important. Attitude is, as I said, something that will let you leave your comfort zone and experience the magic that happens out of your comfort zone. We call our students we call them to the venture. Okay, we try and push them to push their boundaries, we challenge them, we dare them. Okay, and in the process, and once again, Shashank and Ron can probably talk about it, you meet mentors, you meet helpers, you are challenged and tempted, you can reveal your potential. In any case, you are transformed. And hopefully, and this the term employability is very important, because employability means you can work for a company, but you can also start your own business. You can once again create your own future. You're in control. You're not a spectator anymore, you're an actor. And this is very, very important. This is the essence of early makers. Okay, the early maker pedagogy, the early maker learning goals, the learning outcomes all evolve around these very important aptitude and attitude, skills and knowledge. Okay, creating value, taking action, learning from action, being positive, being able to collaborate and unify towards a common goal. Okay, sharing, connecting. Even today, this is why, by the way, I do not like the term social distancing. It's not about social distancing. It's about physical distancing. Today, we are still very much socially connected. And this is what is necessary. You cannot do anything alone. Okay, even today, we're a team, right? And an entrepreneur works with a team. He's head of a team. Sometimes he's in the middle of the team. Sometimes he's behind, sometimes, but he needs to be able to connect and to drive. And this is a mixture of aptitude and attitude. This is something that I found on the internet. It's something that I think is very, very important. Important in the sense that it's easy to understand. Okay, the red line is what you need to learn to think. Okay, the yellow line is what you always have to remember. The gray one is the things that you need to unlearn from school. And by the way, the EM Lyon baseline is learn, unlearn, relearn. And what to never think is the blue line. Okay, I just concentrate on the red and the yellow. You have some inflection points that are very interesting. Let's concentrate on the inflection point. The inflection points is basically this one here: follow the rules or don't follow the rules. I know enough. I know best. Be authentic. Be nice. Okay. This is obviously all the tipping points that any entrepreneur has to reach, has to travel, has to address, has to feel comfortable with. Okay, how do I create my own path? Okay, how do I accept to keep learning, to keep pivoting? Pivoting is a very, very important aspect in any entrepreneurial journey. Okay, and how do I reach that sense of purpose and authenticity? Those are very, very important things. And if you think different and you sometimes don't follow rules, it's always a matter of perception at a given point in time. And if you look at work as an opportunity and not only as a necessity, you're basically on an entrepreneurial path. See? And this is very interesting because it makes the connection once again between your personal and your professional growth. The process. This is also a very straightforward type of reasoning. I mean, I'm sure Rohan can relate to that in his web company. This is basically what he does every day. I mean, this is something that he understands, that he's put in practice, and that has made him very successful. Okay, someone who is in an entrepreneurial spirit and who adopts a lean strategy as compared to a traditional strategy will develop a strategy based on business model instead of a business plan. In other words, he'll keep reassessing. He'll be hypothesis driven instead of implementation driven. Okay, he will look at customers instead of products, etc., etc. In other words, user experience. He will focus on the essential parts that will help drive his business rather than be on the fixed part of a strategy. He will keep reassessing, remodeling, pivoting in an agile manner. And this is exactly what we have to do today as well. Okay, we have to keep reassessing the information that we have in order to keep moving. If I want to make a short parallel, okay, a lot of students today are stuck in the questioning of, should I go to France? Should I not go to France? Should I pursue higher studies? Should I not pursue higher studies? This is exactly the type of questioning that needs a very educated reasoning. Go and get the facts, get your facts, get the information, and then make an educated choice. You're being an entrepreneur in doing so. You're being the entrepreneur of your own craft or your own life. But do not be scared to ask the right question. Do not be afraid of the unknown. On the contrary, take it as an opportunity and try and be ahead of the curve, because an entrepreneur is also ahead of the curve. If everybody behaves in the same way, where's the value? Where is the value? The journey. This is something that is, I think, if I can't see the smile on the faces of my two friends, but I'm sure they can relate to this. We all start, we're super excited, okay? We all went through this. Then, oh my God, it's super hard. This is super, super hard. Yeah, now it's working, so it's better. Then we messed up. Then we feel on top of the world. We're the best. We're the greatest. And then the fall. I'm probably going to go bankrupt. Then the upside. I'm good. Why do I beat myself so much? Okay. Then again, it sucks. And then finally, you know what? Then we find meaning. Then we find purpose. Then this is the journey we're really on. And this has happened to me 3 or 4 times: starting a business, growing a business, selling a business. And this has also happened to I'm sure a lot of people who have gone through these different ways. This can happen in a day, by the way. You can have all these contradictory feelings in a day. This can happen in a month. This can happen in a year. But this will happen during your journey. And this is what makes it great. This is what makes it worthwhile. You know, I keep telling people, I never say it's going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. Because, and I love this quote by Peter Drucker, culture eats strategy for breakfast. I strongly believe that you can have the best strategy, but if you don't have the culture and if you don't have the mindset, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to keep reassessing and moving forward. And finally, quote. I would like to share 2 last slides if I'm not mistaken. Yep. You know who wrote this? Who said this? And this has been my backbone, actually. You see, and I always wondered why. I mean, it's not I wondered. I'm in awe that he started with beliefs and he finishes with destiny. Because this is exactly, once again, maybe on a personal note, on a professional note, but this is exactly, I strongly believe, the path that we all at one point in time have to follow. And to finish, because I can talk a lot about EM Lyon, blah, 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 blah. Let me just share this with you. Hopefully. Yeah, this is normally the glitch. So what is happening? Just let me get back to this. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry about that. Can you see it?
This plate is really brilliant. We'll be having the idea, but it will give some more ideas to how to come up. It's an entirely different world what we have seen. With the come to library and the people here and all the people who are guiding with the new ideas. That will be having the ideas, but how to come with the reality, it helps here. Main thing is we met the incubators and the entrepreneurs. That really gives the idea as a student how to come up with the new ideas, how to build a company, and what are not they need, and how to connect with marketing.
That's what I like about France. Be it food, be it tourism, travel, maybe office, architecture, everywhere there is an originality, there is a sense of giving some part of you to the building. Maybe it's unconventional. Maybe the colors that you've chosen to color your painting, no one's done that. But that's what makes it special. And that's what I like about France. And that's what I like about India. And that is why we believe that, these two countries, we go really well together. Because that's what people like to do in India. They just like to move out of the way. And that's the same thing in France. That is exactly what I find in this business school. They are very happy to accept new ideas. For them, there's nothing called the wrong thing. Everything is right. Whatever you do is right, because in some way or the other, it's helping in community development. And at the end of the day, we believe it's all about community development. It's all about us working together for a good, better future for our kids.
So you see, this is the ecosystem that I was talking about, and this is exact. It encapsulates everything that I tried to convey to you guys. It's about helping you. At the end of the day, it's very simple. It's about helping you grow and make your own future. These students who came to EM Lyon, they were all IIT, Delhi, Bombay, Madras, some of them from ISER. So they were very knowledgeable students. And they did not expect to find within the environment of a business school. Once again, let's not forget that we're a business school. This type of setting up, and this type of interaction, and this type of ecosystem. And this is something that is very unique. Okay, the hybridization. We believe that there is no divide. We do not believe in silos. We believe that in order to innovate, in order to create, in order to grow, you need to collaborate and be able to work with different people from different horizons. That is the essence of EM Lyon Business School. And this is the last slide of my presentation. So merci beaucoup. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. Indeed, a very motivational approach, and of course, with great professionalism. Thank you so much. I believe it really helped the young aspirants, and of course, getting out of the comfort zone is really important if one really wants to make a difference to his life. During the presentation, you mentioned that the school took a great initiative by organizing talks every Saturday. And apparently, I heard this week there's a contest also. So can you tell us more about this?
Yeah, it's not a contest. It's not a contest because things are too serious to be to label it as a contest. It's just another way of reaching out and helping students achieve their project or hopefully their dream. The idea is very simple. The situation is complicated. The situation, as I said, is uncertain. So we wanted to show our students who we are, basically. And I strongly believe, that's the reason why I'm doing this, by the way. I strongly believe that we are a caring institution, and we want to share, and we also want to dare. So we entitled these talks "Care, Share, and Dare." So for example, at EM Lyon, when this COVID situation started, we had a task force, a COVID-19 task force that was set up, who took care of all the stakeholders, may it be the employees, may it be the students, may it be all the stakeholders that were part of the community. We also had a fund, financial fund to help the students in a dire situation. We also have a wellness center that took care of their well-being in a holistic approach. So and you just saw the Fab Lab. Since the Fab Lab were empty due to physical distancing, we restarted the Fab Labs and we created face masks and we started sharing with the hospital. So that was a way of sharing and being part and taking care of the community. We did the same thing for the Indian students also. We shared a lot of information with them, very transparently, very openly, very straightforwardly. Once again, for them to make up their minds and see if it was a good moment for them to pursue their higher education in France and in EM Lyon in particular. So this is the type of very, very honest, straightforward, friendly conversation that we wanted to start, because that's a way of also connecting. We did not want the students to be alone and feel distressed, etc., etc. And the last step, I think it was a great idea by the team members. They decided to ask the students how they could contribute and what type of ideas they could have to make the next period a more innovative, more friendly, more qualitative, way of learning. So we started a small little conversation with them, and hopefully, the response has been very good. Actually, we've got a lot of students that came up with some great ideas, and we decided to help those students, since we've been caring and sharing, and they've been sharing back. we decided to help them in terms of scholarship and help them reach their goal if they come to EM Lyon.
All right. So we all understand that there was a great push back in the beginning, but the school has responded well to the situation, and they conducted online classes for the students on campus, and now the school is also ready to welcome the students for the fall intake.
The
There are
fall
a lot of
intake.
scholarships also for the admitted students.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Okay. So now coming, having the entrepreneurial spirit, let's come to Rohan and Shashank and let's talk about their entrepreneurial journey. So, Rohan, let's start with you. A process automation expert by profession, a businessman by heart, and sportsman by hobby. So tell us more about your professional journey, Rohan.
So thank you, Ashley, first of all, and thank you, Campus France and Nidhi, for allowing me to join you in this wonderful conversation. I am Marwadi, so entrepreneurship is something that is normally associated with this set of people. And since I was born Marwadi, it was put into me that you have to always become an entrepreneur. So right from my childhood, I have been seeing all kind of people around me starting up something. I mean, it is not necessary to be a big venture. It could be something small, right from a small grocery shop to being a broker or to being a garment manufacturer. People have done all kind of things around me, and then that has always been inspiring to pursue something of this kind in the future. But when I completed my engineering, I went against the curve, and I decided that I will join a company. I will not do something immediately because I wasn't very confident about starting up immediately. So then I joined a company called Honeywell Automation, which is a leading American conglomerate group. So I worked with them for 4.5 years, and then at that point of time, I wasn't sure what I'm supposed to do in my life, what is really happening. So there were two options: either to start off immediately, or to pursue a MBA and to what do you say? Try something out, maybe get more business skills, and then pursue the entrepreneurship dream. So then I was looking for a few schools, business schools, which would be more relevant to me since I had 4.5 years experience. I was looking for business schools focused on entrepreneurship, some schools where I would actually get to work on a startup project. And EM Lyon at that time seemed to be the right fit for me because they had a perfect setup for entrepreneurship. They were marketing the school as an entrepreneurship leader in Europe, and that is what I actually experienced when I joined the school. I really saw that right from the day I joined, I saw the entrepreneurship culture in the school. So even my courses, the first course was identifying entrepreneurship opportunity. Right from there till the time I presented for a business plan at Mood Corp in Texas, Austin, I managed to get that entire entrepreneurial flavor, and that is what really I was looking for in EMU. So the journey went from 4.5 years working for a company, then to MBA, and then post that I started up something. So probably I'll highlight that later.
Yes, Rohan, so like you said, you were working before joining MBA. So yeah. Do you think one really needs an MBA to become an entrepreneur?
Yeah, that's a tough question. Actually, it depends. Some people would really want to try out something and then go for an MBA. That there are different kind of people. Some would just start their business. They wouldn't care about anything else because it's a huge investment of time and money that you put in an MBA. But there are rewards of doing an MBA, and there are some benefits which you definitely get even in entrepreneurship course, which I am getting till now. And before before starting up, I wasn't very sure about my business skills around finance, around strategy, around marketing, because I have been doing an engineer's job. So it was kind of difficult to take that leap from engineering to entrepreneurship. So in between, the MBA came in, and I felt it was the right thing.
All right, all right. So coming to Shashank. Shashank is a graduate in economics, independent consultant for World Bank, and also co-founder of Yotaka Solutions. So Shashank, you tell us how it started, and when you decided to do your master's studies, you were already a budding entrepreneur. What makes you to go back to education?
So thanks, Nidhi. So actually, my journey was slightly different. I did a BA in economics, and like any middle class Indian family will tell you, a BA today is useless. You need to get a senior degree, and if you don't get a senior degree, you've achieved nothing in life. So, so which is basically when I finished my BA from Xavier's, the next logical step was let's go get an MBA. And I applied, and I was actually on my way to Australia to go do my MBA. But I had some time in between to kill, and I happened to join a Dutch company that was into software and was just starting into India. And I joined them for business development. And about 3 months into that job, my boss then, he asked me one very important question. He said, I have two questions for you. You're planning to go do your MBA in Australia. One, why are you doing an MBA? And two, which particular field of MBA? Is it MBA finance, marketing, IT? What is it that you want to do? And quite frankly, I didn't have a straight enough answer to give him. And he's a guy who's done his IIM. He's done a further degree from Stanford. So it's not like he doesn't, credit education. But he was the one who convinced me, saying, I don't think you're ready for an MBA. And I didn't know what that meant. But I took his word because it meant not spending that kind of money at that point in time. So I was like, okay, great option. Started working. And about 6 years later, which was working with that company for a few years, and then forming my own company, a startup, where he was my mentor, also became a co-founder in the company. And then we formed that company. And we did fairly well for about 3 years into the company. We reached our mark. We had a goal saying we want to hit like a $2 million revenue, which we hit. And I was like, okay, it's perfect time now to take that sabbatical. One. Two, I was like, you didn't let me go do my MBA. I think I probably have the right time now. And I wouldn't lie. The MBA was an excuse. I was like, I want to do something that let me travel. Because again, it was a reason for the travel as well. It wasn't let's just pack a bag and go backpacking. It was more the company's reached a certain stage. We've done a certain amount in India, and we thought it also made logical sense to now look outside of the Indian borders and see how we can expand into other countries. So which is where I started looking, trying to identify. So you have the basic questions as any entrepreneur has. How do I get into that economy? How do I get into that country? Can I form a company there? What do I need to form a company there? How do I form a partnership? These are a whole set of questions. So we thought it probably made good sense to try and find someone or some sort of a institution that can help you or understand these things, which is where the reason for me, and I think the course that EM Lyon was offering that time, it's called the Global Entrepreneurship Program. I don't think there could be a better program that fit my needs. It was probably serendipity there, because I found a program that basically did 4 months in France, 4 months in China, and 4 months in the US. So the whole idea of trying to explore international borders, it was probably the cheapest way to explore international borders, because the education was there. And EM Lyon, I'm not trying to publicize it here, but EM Lyon was actually really supportive, because they even make, I don't know if a lot of MBA students know this, but you can actually speak to your college and ask to help you even financially. So if you tell them that, the course is too expensive for me, can something be done? They actually help you out there. They're like, yeah, fine. What can you afford? Let's work. It is a conversation. It's actually a dialogue that opens up. So it was very interesting to explore that, and they were really nice to help me with that at that point in time as well. And we did fairly. And then that is how basically I got into the MBA, and my whole agenda actually met with bang on purpose over there. And I'll go ahead and answer your second question when you asked, is an MBA important? I don't think an MBA is essential to become an entrepreneur, but an entrepreneur can benefit from an MBA. And what he can benefit is, I personally believe that nobody should do an MBA directly after doing a graduation, because then your value is as you don't really get the true value of a master's program. I think to understand the master's program, you have to look beyond just what the campus offers you. While the campus offers you a certain extent, it becomes your prerogative to figure out how you leverage that network, because the relationships you make at an MBA college are very different from what you make at a school. Because at MBA, there's a bunch of professionals getting together who are with the objective of, taking that next step in life as far as profession is concerned. And you've been together at that first stage. That is something that remains. Like, I did my course at EM Lyon about 4 years back, or actually 6 years back. And 6 years later, probably one of my business partners was also one of my college mates in one of the businesses that I'm doing with him. So we've held in touch. Everybody else is in great, everybody reaches out to each other even today, even for things like, I'm starting this new business. Do you guys have an opportunity somewhere? And we've been able to help each other. So it really has become like a stepping stone that we reuse quite a bit, even among our network. So that, I think, is one thing that the MBA of sorts does give you. And the second thing also, like at EM Lyon and at Purdue, was something that I actually saw experience firsthand, was the one access to a great alumni, because that is what you get at every place. And the alumni automatically responds much better when you tell them you're at that course. Ashley was one great example who's on this right now, because I reached out to him, particularly when I was in EM Lyon. I basically discussed this thing, I want to start a business. What do you suggest? He gave me great insights as well over there. And similarly, I had the experience of doing that at Purdue and J.G. Young University as well. So the alumni, definitely. And well, I will say this, at Lyon, at EM Lyon especially, Lyon is geographically located at such a great location that some of the most innovative businesses actually originate from Lyon City. Like Sodexo, for example, was the first coupon-based financing company, and that originated in Lyon. Then you have Renault, which is the automotive manufacturer who's there. There's a whole bunch of actually really innovative companies that origin in Lyon. And when you tell them, you can just pick the phone up and tell them you're from EM Lyon, you're a student there. They actually open doors to anybody in the office you want to go and meet up. I leveraged that thoroughly. I went and met up all the businesses there. And because of Lyon being Lyon, the geographical location, I could even travel to Switzerland, to Italy, to Germany, and all the cities around within France. It was like every weekend was probably hop across to an Italy, or hop across to Switzerland, go meet some people in Geneva, go meet some people in Grenoble. So the location also really helped us. So definitely, I think these are parameters that should be looked at when you are going in for your education of a master's.
Actually, the Global Entrepreneurship Program at EM Lyon was a best suit to you, because by studying at EM Lyon Business School, it actually gave you the experience of 3 different continents.
Exactly, yeah. And that really helped also which basically landed my consulting gig at the World Bank, I would lie, because they were quite impressed, saying, what is this course that is let you go and meet people, and not just meet, you're actually living, interacting, doing business with people from across these places. So that really helped.
Yes, I was about to ask that how this global experience has given a global platform to your startup. So
yeah, so that was definitely one as an independent consultant. And also for our business, we actually, at the end of the course, I landed my first partner in the US. And then one of the colleagues or my peers who I was studying with, he's based in Martinique, which is an offshore territory of France. he's a business partner with me today, and we have a software company that does online video conferencing. And so, yeah, that definitely helped. We've got multiple businesses have been able to spawn thanks to the relationships that we've formed.
That's great to hear. So coming to Rohan. Rohan, you did your MBA from EM Lyon Business School, which was partially in France and partially in UK. So post MBA, you must have a lot of opportunities to work in Europe. What motivated you to come back to India? And of course, what challenges did you face in having your own startup?
Prior to MBA, I was working with Honeywell. So Honeywell was always an option, even beyond the MBA. And also during the MBA, I managed to do a strategic marketing project, which is called as a ELP, with a company called Stryker, which is an American company. So both the companies were quite open to the MBA students joining them. Even Honeywell, I was in touch with quite a few seniors from Honeywell. But at that point of time, I was pretty convinced that since I would have to spend some time figuring out what the business should actually be, I felt India is the right country to do that, because there are a lot of problems to solve in India. So that is the reason I felt that instead of joining some company at that point of time, I probably have anyways taken a break. So I will explore something for a year, and then those companies are still open. So that is the way I jumped into entrepreneurship. When I came back to India, I was actually trying to figure out what should be the real business, and mobile apps development was something that was booming at that point of time in 2010. So I met a couple of friends, and we tried to figure out what we should do. While we were doing that, we started getting offers for developing mobile apps, and the services company just started haphazardly without any objective. We started delivering those projects, and then things went on coming. I mean, we just started meeting few companies, and mobile apps business just blossomed. Over a period of time, due to mobile apps, we went into web development, and quite a lot of areas we started targeting. And by 2015, we were like end-to-end software development company. The best part was we were able to connect with leading consulting firms. So McKinsey is one of the company we've been working for the past 7 years. We've been delivering projects to them around dashboards and sales leads management. So these are the areas which we worked on, and we proved our expertise to the consulting firms. The best part about having your own company is you can explore and do the things that you want. So cryptocurrency and blockchain were two areas we felt that we should touch upon. And since 2017, we've done a project around blockchain, and we also have our own trading platform for cryptocurrency. So that's the beauty of a startup. You can explore, and you can experiment, and you can do what you want.
Great. So my last question, this is for all of you. Since you all are successful entrepreneurs, so has COVID situation changed the way you handle your business?
I think you should, if you're not from this planet, you would say no. only
basically,
only
what advice would you like to give to the young professionals?
No, I think no. Seriously, about to answer your question, Nidhi, it's obvious that the COVID situation has affected all business models, all business relations, and it's something that is a given. Now, the real question is, how do you leverage the situation, and how do you make the most of it? And how do you once again transform a constraint into an opportunity? And I think that there are a lot of innovative models that are emerging right now. There are a lot of innovative connections made right now. And this is just to come back on the two. I'm super glad that Rohan and Shashank were able to express their journey and what they did and what they have become. Because if I want to encapsulate all that, both. I mean, Shashank mentioned the international exposure. Okay, EM Lyon is a school where we have 3 campuses on 3 continents. We are one of the rare schools to have that. In other words, what I'm trying to say is that we have the opportunity of leveraging a lot of influences and of creating a lot of value coming from different areas of the world. And this is exactly what this whole situation is. This is a global situation. It affects everybody and in a blanket way. Now, the way people are going to come out of it is going to be an individual choice. And that individual choice is going to depend on your mindset, on your outlook, and on your desire to take calculated risks. Okay, so yes, my businesses have been affected, but I have also, and I will only answer and I'll let Rohan and Shashank talk about it, but my businesses have been affected, but we have found ways to not only answer but be proactive, because the question is being proactive and providing the next stage answers. Okay, it's not only about talking about the old world. It's preparing a new user experience, a new relationships, new engaging conversations with all the stakeholders. And once again, it's about finding meaning in chaos. It's finding comfort in uncertainty. This is and I'll stop there and I'll let the younger generation take the flag.
No, I quite agree. I mean, in terms of well, my business, in my case, it actually helped me slightly little, probably helped me more because my business is basically, we have an artificial intelligence, we're a company based on applications of artificial intelligence, and we're using it on computer vision. So basically, we're trying to make cameras smarter, and we've been trying to reduce people interaction for a while now. So physical interaction, so that is somewhere it fed into what we did. And we actually took a call with this particular venture about 2 years, because the previous venture, when I got out of it, we had about 150 employees there. Whereas this one, we took a conscious call about when we started 2 years back. So we want to keep it really lean. And by lean, I really mean it, because we're about 4 employees in the company, but 95% of our work is outsourced. But now, in hindsight, it was probably the best decision we made, considering the whole zero overhead costs when it came to COVID, during the COVID times. But yes, Ashley, so right. In terms of business now, definitely we've been pivoting. And I love the last slide Ashley had on his presentation, where he talked about, you're doubting yourself. I think as an entrepreneur, you probably go through that 5 times a day. I don't even think it takes longer than that. I think within the day, you're wondering. In the morning, you're like, yeah, things are growing great. You get some news. By afternoon, you're like, okay, that's it, we're done. And then by evening, suddenly things look better. So I think that's been happening with these times especially. But yes, we've been trying to pivot. We moved, our offerings have also now aided, where we're actually working with the government to help them as well, wherever possible, because I think it's just those times where every government needs all sorts of support. So we've been trying to do our part in helping them with creating some sort of contact tracing application. We were able to create one contact tracing application for my city that I come from in Gujarat, and similarly we're doing some sort of other things. But yes, we've definitely see very different times going ahead, and like Ashley rightly put it, it's going to be pre-COVID and then with COVID. And I think now going forth, that is going to be the way businesses function. We are going to be looking at a very different method of doing business. Even with, simple things like limitation on physical travel is going to be a huge impact as well. Like I know my World Bank guys have given us a mandate saying there's no physical travel going to happen at least till the end of the year. So suddenly we're going to get innovative in how we actually deal with the various government employees. So yeah, I mean, definitely is going to be challenging, but it's going to be interesting. I think with the challenge comes an opportunity there.
Exactly.
So we definitely find an opportunity in that.
Rohan,
Yeah, I think
would
we
you
have
like to add something? Yes.
because we are in an industry which actually work from home. So IT is one industry which has been less impacted, according to me. The only issue in India that we faced was the infrastructure, because some of the employees probably wouldn't have those kind of internet connections or connectivity. So that is something which we battled, and that got sorted in a month's time. But post that, I think if all of my employees, everybody has been working and has been delivering more probably than what he was in the company, because even they are getting that freedom which all entrepreneurs enjoy. They can work at the times that they want. The only thing that you monitor is what has been delivered. So COVID has, in a sense, been positive for the IT industry. And I think with Narendra Modi announcing Make in India, Make for the World, I am sure that a lot of businesses are going to flourish and start up in India. And technology definitely holds the key for all those businesses. And we are very positive for industries such as education, healthcare, coming up with all kind of innovative models to connect with their customers. And definitely IT will play a huge role during the in COVID era.
Yes, that's a very motivating way to look at the situation. And in fact, thank you so much for your interesting discussions and sharing your valuable thoughts and insights. Each story is really motivating. Thank you so much. And I'm sure this will really help the students to choose France for their entrepreneurial journey. So thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Shank, and thank you, Rohan, for being with us today. Thank you. We wish you luck for your future endeavors. It was great having you. Before leaving, I would like to tell the viewers that Campus France also organizes a Q&A session on Instagram every Wednesday at 6 o'clock with the Campus France manager as well as the alumni. If you have any questions related to higher studies in France, you can be live tomorrow for the Instagram session at 6 p.m. So thank you, everyone. Have a great
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe. Bye-bye.